Using freebies, more complicated than you think. Hello, let's talk about the right way to use freebies in your website designs. By freebies, I mean various free graphical resources found on the web in various formats: PSD files, JPEGs, PNGs, EPS or AI files, and so on. You can see a few examples on screen right now, and you might think, hey, these are great, and some can jumpstart your project and give you a significant boost. Actually, you could tie various freebies together and create lots of great-looking websites. It's not like designers don't know about these free resources. So, what's the problem? First, we'll talk about the license, though that's not really a big issue nowadays. Through the license, the creator of the freebie sets up boundaries regarding how you may use his work. One license type requires attribution. This means you must credit the author. You may add something in the footer that says, "Images are courtesy of example.com. Most of these licenses require a link to the author's website. I like to avoid these freebies because most clients don't want to give attribution to a third-party designer when they expect you to handle everything. The second type of license, and it's the most used one at the moment, is free for personal and commercial use, no attribution required. Most freebie sites understand clients don't like to give backlinks, so to attract more traffic, they cut all the strings attached to their resources. This means you can freely use these graphical resources in design contests without having to credit them or even warn your client about them. One limitation is you can't sell or redistribute them, meaning you can't pack a bunch of freebies together and charge people for them. But again, the license isn't the major downside of freebies because they're very straightforward. Briefly, always read the license attached to the resource. Look for free for commercial use, that's the best kind, and never use a resource that doesn't have a license attached to it. If you do that, you might use it illegally. Now let's move on to the real downside. Designers can spot a freebie from a mile away. By using major design elements that are easily recognizable, you paint yourself as a beginner and you're far less likely to be taken seriously. Thing is, even though you have the legal rights to use a freebie, if you win a design contest by gluing several resources together, your client will feel ripped off, and believe me, he will find out. Our community of designers is very vigilant when it comes to these sorts of things. You don't have to be part of a forum or a Facebook group to be in this design community. By freelancing, by creating and uploading work on the web, you're automatically a member. And we, as designers, hate it when someone steals or misuses something. That's why you have to be especially careful when using freebies. It's not a legal matter, but more of a moral issue. Are you a designer or are you a web scavenger who fits pieces together? So let me show you some examples and a few sources of great freebies. On my blog, thislooksgreat.net, you can find various resources. They have no strings attached, so you can use them without worries in design contests. If we look at the mock-up section, you can imagine how you can use these in a hero section to showcase some nice features of an app. Let's head to flaticon.com, a fantastic source of icons. Here we have this round Facebook icon. There's an entire pack of them, and they come in handy in lots of projects. Very few designers create these icons in Photoshop because they all look about the same. The same goes for these phones. They're virtually identical, so if someone offers you their work for free, why not take it and use it? It's not like if you design a Samsung S7 it would be dramatically different, right? So that's how I approach freebies. I use them as a shortcut where there's little I can do to improve it. I use these icon packs and I focus my energy on other important parts of the website design. By the way, flaticon.com requires attribution, so when you click to download an icon, you'll get this pop-up that gives you a code you can paste in your website. If you want to avoid that, you must pay a certain fee. Going back to freebies, I also love subtlepatterns.com. This is the place where you get awesome patterns that really can improve your designs. Many people go flat nowadays, but textures always show attention to detail when used right. This is one of the best places for quality patterns on the web, so I strongly recommend them. Freepic.com is another gallery that offers lots of freebies, and they have a huge collection. Again, most require attribution, but you can pay a fee and get that sorted. Though a lot of beginners love this site, along with freebiesbug.com, they're in the danger zone. Not legally, but because they feature very recognizable materials. It's one thing to use a social media icon set, a phone mock-up, or a subtle pattern here and there, and it's another to use this hero area or this pattern. These are very recognizable. Same goes with freepic.com, with lots of fantastic nature illustrations like these ones, but again, I know almost all of these by heart, and the new ones follow the same style as the old ones, so I can quickly see what's what. Graphicburger.com is last on my list, and I'd like to show you one particular example. It's this mobile game graphical user interface. It's cool, right? Well, I have an Android design studio and I constantly hire designers. Someone came in and presented a composition that was made up of at least 75% from these components. I asked, "Did you design these yourself?" "Yes," was the answer. Okay, I asked a few other questions because I didn't want to be too insistent, and then I came back to it. "Did you perhaps use some resources from the web?" And at that point, he might have realized the situation. He might not have, but he didn't acknowledge that he used a freebie for most of the work. Needless to say, he didn't get the job. Maybe he honestly forgot, but me, as a designer, I could spot that freebie with no hesitation. And it's not just because I browse these galleries. A big tell sign is when you see styles clashing. This freebie has a certain look to it, a certain colour scheme and layer styles. The rest of the project didn't match, so it was clear something didn't add up. That's the last major downside of freebies. Unless you get a complete user interface kit or an entire page, it'll be tough trying to integrate it with the rest of your work. Honestly, it's easier to create something from scratch. That's why even if you have the legal rights and you don't care about any moral issues or your reputation as a designer, it's still difficult to piece various freebies together because most of the time they clash in styles. And your contest holders will notice that, and you won't win. So don't waste all that time for nothing and use freebies in small bits of the design that aren't remarkable features. For the rest, treat them as inspiration. Let's talk about that in the next lecture.